Australian Aviation Podcast, the official podcast of Australian Aviation, unpacking the latest insights, developments and issues impacting Australia's aviation sector.
Hello and welcome to the Australian Aviation Podcast, the first regular Australian Aviation podcast for 2026. I hope you've all had a good break. I am Jake Nelson, and with me, as per usual, is my co-host, the deputy editor of Cyber Daily, who left the Hooly Doolies before they got famous, David Hollingworth.
And they've gone downhill ever since, seriously.
Yeah, no, it's you were the glue that held that whole thing together.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are back once again for a new year, what promises to be a big year for the Australian aviation sector. We've got WSI opening up later this year. We've got potential new airlines. We've got Qantas expecting the first of its A350 1000 ULRs that it's going to be using for Project Sunrise starting in 2027. And I'm sure there will be a whole lot of other surprises throughout the year that we will not have anticipated, but will
absolutely cover in detail right here on the pod.
Exactly. We are also joined from AI Daily by Daniel Croft, who is here to lend us his AI expertise for the first little segment.
Also known as our robot overlord.
Yep. That's me.
Now, are you a robot who is an overlord or overlord of robots?
The latter, rather than the former.
Fair enough.
Correct.
So we will be chatting a bit more with Daniel in a moment. Would also like to thank the wonderful people who appeared on our pre-recorded podcasts over the Christmas break. We had Captain Richard de Crepney, the captain of QF32, which, of course, had famously that engine explosion after it took off from Singapore back in 2010. Thank you to Martin Lidgard from Web Manuals and to Jesse Young from Leidos and Kristen Raby from Aviation Aerospace Australia. Three fantastic podcasts over the Christmas break. Go back and have a listen to those if you haven't already, and expect to see a couple of those featured in the next issue of Australian Aviation Magazine. But we're going to get right into the news, and the reason that Daniel is here is we've got a couple weeks of news to cover, but one story that we were wanting to have Daniel here for was Qantas planning to increase the use of AI. They want to scale usage of AI across the business over the coming year. Now, that is according to the CEO, Vanessa Hudson, in the 2026 the Australian CEO survey. She said that Qantas has been laying the foundations for increased use of AI and that Australia needs to move quickly on the unprecedented opportunities it represents, her words. And this is, of course, after Qantas last month appointed Rachel Yangoyan, the former CEO of Qantas Link, as the first Chief Technology, AI and Transformation Officer. So what she said was, quote, AI has the ability to unlock efficiencies that weren't possible before and will help us provide a better experience for customers and better support for our employees. Despite all the doomsday scenarios about the impact on jobs, the reality is AI isn't going to replace most jobs needed to operate an airline. For us, AI is about working smarter and delivering a better experience for customers and providing the tools to set up our employees for success. She said that as they implement more AI across the business, it's going to change the way many of the teams work, just as email, computers, and iPads have over the past few decades. From predictive maintenance to flight planning to HR functions, the opportunities are enormous. So I wanted to bring you in on this, Daniel, because you are, of course, in charge of AI Daily, which is our AI publication.
Yep.
What do you make of all this?
Well, look, the first thing that stands out to me is the active comment about, doomsday scenarios and the impact on jobs.
I do like that one. Like, it just goes cut straight to the chase going, jobs are fine.
Yeah. And it's a good point.
No one panic.
I would not trust AI, at least in its current form, in some of the jobs it was talking about in like managing an airline.
Let's put it this way. Qantas can barely get planes up on time even with human operators, so AI isn't going to do any better.
Yeah, well, it might do better. I just hope it doesn't do worse. But I think in the jobs that it's talking about, it shouldn't be an issue, and there are these roles are definitely things that are human-oriented. Now, the one that stands out to me, though, however, is HR functions. HR famously standing for human resources. I would like to see in more detail how that works. But other than that, and I very, very rarely say it, not a bad implementation of AI.
I mean, also, I do like this. This is what she said, getting an aircraft ready for its next flight is a complex operation. 50 tasks needed to be completed, often in sequence. Using cameras and AI, we can create a digital record of operations in real time, helping us better understand the cause of delays. I mean, again, that's a great use case.
And for me, just to be as negative as possible, the only issue I would have with that is, AI hallucination leading to bad readings. So, making mistakes in those readings and leading to safety issues down
I think the question is, what kind of AI are they talking about?
Well, that's it. They don't disclose the exact kind of AI and its exact implementation. I'm sure that's something we'll see in the future. But I think that would also make a big
they could be doing
factor in
anything from investing in an AI model off the shelf, or they could be spinning up their own AI model, which is purpose-built for what they're doing.
Yeah, which is a harder thing to do. It'll take longer, but might be more fit for purpose, to be
Absolutely.
honest.
Because is it generative AI, ChatGPT sort of thing, or is it like machine learning or analytic AI, or
I doubt it's like just a generative AI for the applications it's doing here. It's not going to be a chatbot like ChatGPT, but I mean, as far as I know, anyway.
So imagine you've got 50 instances of an aircraft getting off the ground on time, and you start recording all of that. You keep that digital record of those operations, those real-time digital records. If something is delayed, you can now instantly go back and get the AI to go through it and go, where's the anomaly?
Yeah.
And it means a human's going to be asking the AI that question, and a human will be reviewing the data that comes through, but it's the AI that collates it across all these different data points.
You're absolutely right. That plane was supposed to be in Melbourne and not Botswana. Here's a bullet point list of the things that went wrong.
Here's where it all went wrong.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning.
It's not just about making sure the plane takes off from the right place. It's also about making sure the plane touches down in the right place.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, look, but that's exactly right. It will just kind of be analyzing these patterns, which is what AI does in pretty much all applications, and we'll come up with an algorithmic kind of
here is the most likely cause. Yeah. And a human can go look at what the AI thinks is the most likely cause.
Exactly. Yeah. Now you do actually mention Virgin Australia in this story as well.
Yes.
And their partnership with OpenAI to integrate ChatGPT into customer and staff-facing operations. Going back to job impact, that's less good.
Yeah.
Less good.
Yeah. We've seen exactly this kind of thing happen in Australian businesses like Commonwealth Bank, and that went terribly for them. This isn't a cyber or AI podcast, so I won't go into too much detail.
Because isn't there just Australia is like one of the most subscribed nations to ChatGPT on the planet?
Look, historically, Australians are a nation of early adopters. Any technology comes out, and we're one of the first to embrace it. Embrace it.
One of the first to embrace it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that doesn't surprise me at all. We probably have a very AI literate population.
I would say so, probably, yeah. And, we keep getting told by international companies, Australia needs to harness AI early. You've got...
It's going to boost productivity.
Yeah, Sam Altman from OpenAI and the like saying, this is, he released a plan for Australia and what needs to be done to make Australia an AI powerhouse. Yeah. And a lot of it was partner with us on many different things.
Build data centers.
Yeah. So I think
it's like, the CEO of Oreos saying that Oreos are a vital part of a balanced diet or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. It all sounds great when
they're not?
I eat them anyway.
Yeah, good.
So that would cause more concern, the whole customer and staff facing operations. One, I've been on the phone with, a digital kind of customer service thing before. It's terrible.
And it always ends up with a human coming in. Okay, the AI is dumb. What can I do for you?
Yeah. Like when a bunch of fast food places, I think KFC trialed it, having AI run the, you drive in.
Yeah.
Pardon me. You drive into the takeaway place, the drive-through, and the AI takes your order. One time I did it. Before it even said anything, someone jumped in. Because it's just not competent enough. Now, when you have people worrying about, flight bookings, which cost a lot more money, are a lot more time sensitive than, a Zinger box, I can see that going wrong.
I mean, when you want that Zinger box, though, you really want it.
Well, yeah, if I was flying for a Zinger box, then I'm in big trouble.
Got to get to Melbourne. There's a new Zinger down there.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about chicken treat.
Yes, we've had this conversation.
Chicken treat, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just I shudder to think of airlines, I don't know, implementing ChatGPT for aircraft maintenance or whatever, It's no, and a 737-800 is supposed to have 5 engines. Here are where the engines are supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone's talking about ChatGPT or anything of that ilk running important stuff. It's just going to be an aid to help the smooth running of day-to-day business.
Yeah.
The stuff that already happens, trying to make it run smoother.
Here's a friendlier way to format this Mayday call.
Here's an idea for you.
Yeah.
Imagine having access to ChatGPT on your seat back.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah. And it's
For what?
I don't. For a 12-hour trip, you might want to just chat to the bot. Hi, friend. Where are we going? Tell me a little bit where we're going. And you do it on your own time.
Yeah, I mean...
I think that's not a bad use, honestly.
God,
did I just come out pro AI? I need to drink more.
Yeah, I don't know. Hearing so many people get dependent on AI for relationships, especially on a long flight, especially if you're flying by yourself.
You get off the plane and suddenly I need more of that AI. God damn it.
Yeah, people, it's happening. Like, it's leading to some really, really bad mental health issues and things like that. I wouldn't be for that. Yeah. I would rather watch my movie on the back seat, on the seat in front of me. Or on my phone. But that's just me. Some people might really, really like it. But
yes, pretend you're my grandmother telling me a bedtime story about how to open the emergency exit door in flight.
I mean, the only other thing I would say, and this could easily be replaced by just having resources on the plane, is if you were wanting to talk about the destination you're traveling to, or
look, you could just have the Wikipedia page.
Exactly.
There. But I think having something which is a bit more interactive. Yeah.
I mean, you could do it as a way to fetch those things. It's not going to be like when you search something and something completely unrelated comes up. It'll be, direct based on the small amount of information we've got stored by Qantas or the airline or whatever it is.
Your in-flight friend who's fun to be with.
Yeah, exactly. Sure, something like that. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Oh, keeping kids entertained.
Well, that's a whole other thing that I'm... not a fan
Children
of.
have no rights on aircraft. I'm completely for them getting ruined by AI.
You would have to somehow. I don't know how you do it because like all AI chatbots need data centers and stuff like that, don't they? You can't
technically, yes.
Yeah. So it's like, how do you keep it from getting on the internet and giving you wildly incorrect information?
Well, the way
it's okay. The incorrect information is already on board.
Ideally, it would just connect to the data centers remotely.
Yeah.
Is that what you were suggesting? Having a data center on each plane?
Because it's just how do you keep the AI off the internet and just focused on the material that that Qantas has made available, for example?
I guess it would just be when you had the AI implemented, it would just be restricted to certain data sets. But I mean, I'm not an AI engineer. I don't know exactly how that'd be done, but I can't imagine that's too hard. What we need is an AI that can fix a crying baby. This podcast is
that got even grimmer than I thought it would, and that's me saying it.
Not to fix the baby, stop it crying. This podcast is derailing.
Before we sign off on the whole Qantas AI thing, did either of you guys travel over the break?
No.
Not by plane.
No aircraft?
Not by plane.
So I was the only one who did that? Right.
What? Yeah. Tell us about your travels by plane.
I flew to Wagga.
Wow.
It has an actual airport with a whole building and everything.
Aircraft?
It was a Dash 8.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Lovely.
Yep. I cannot get a Dash 8 without thinking of our prior colleague and his issues with small craft.
I love the Dash 8.
Better or worse than a Saab? Have you flown in a Saab with Rex before?
I don't think I've flown in a Saab before because I'm sure I remember it.
Yeah.
It seems like a singular experience.
I may have years and years and years ago, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
But how is the old Qantas Link Dash 8?
Fine. Like I like the Dash 8s. I love seeing a prop outside the window. I love knowing if something goes wrong, I'll see it immediately when that prop stops spinning.
Yeah.
And it's fun flying into these small. I've never flown into Wagga before. I was going down to Victoria to catch up with a friend, and their partner was staying in Wagga with family. So I'd fly to Wagga and we'll take a drive down. As I drove down to Shepparton and then leaving Shepparton, train down to Broadmeadow, bus to things. So it was a whole thing, but it was just a good trip.
Yeah, I do like the Dash 8. I like being able to look down, having the wing above you and being able to look down and see things.
Yeah. Like, absolutely. It doesn't block it out. When you get that wing seat and all you see is don't step here.
Well, the only travel I've done of late is I was in New Zealand late last year. And that's a great flight because as you fly into the South Island towards Christchurch, you see
nothing wrong with that.
all the Alps.
Yeah.
Like it is the best view you'll see from a plane, that I've been on anyway.
Yeah.
But if it was if the wing was above, you could see all of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just blocks by wing.
Yeah.
So I do like the Dash 8.
Well, when I went on the XLR with Qantas last year, for
I
that
can't wait to
inaugural-
fly on one of those.
Yeah. Oh, it is really nice. It is really, really very nice. But when I got on the XLR with Qantas for the inaugural last year, it was a VH OGA Great Ocean Road, and so they flew us over the Great Ocean Road. And so we got to we diverted a bit south of Melbourne, and we flew over the Great Ocean Road and saw the Apostles and
what remains of the 12 Apostles.
Yeah, both sides of the plane got to look, and it was very nice. And honestly, flying in the Saab down to Canberra to get on that Virgin E190 E2 flight was not bad until the end part. Like the landing sucked.
Yeah. Those small craft bounce around a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it would have rattled the fillings out of my head if I'd had any. But
the landing into Wagga, like I didn't even notice we landed. It was that smooth. Just like suddenly, wait, that vibration feels different. Oh, we're down. Okay, cool.
But it was cool, looking out the window and seeing so close all the stuff going past.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
I mean, so these are doing the same routes. I'm not very intelligent when it comes to planes. These are doing the
That's
same.
why you're no longer on Australian Aviation.
yeah. The commenters love
Plane go up, plane go
love
down.
that.
Yeah.
So this is doing the same routes that Dash 8s traditionally did.
Yeah.
Okay, this is just looking at the images, it's quite an upgrade.
What's this one?
Or the XLR. It's a much nicer looking plane than a Dash 8 on the inside.
The XLR doesn't do.
I thought that's what you said, the XLR.
No, I went on the XLR down to Melbourne. That's replacing the
okay, never mind.
The
I was going to say that's a much larger looking
no.
aircraft.
No. I went.
Taking the XLR from Sydney to Wagga would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
The A220 would be nice on some of these
Yes,
routes.
it would. Yeah.
I haven't been on a Qantas Link A220 yet, but it's the A220 that's being put on as jet services on on the regional routes.
Yeah.
No, the XLR is not. Is not flying Sydney to Canberra.
Okay, cool. I was very confused.
No, it's
but
I went Sydney to Canberra on a Saab.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And that was for the Virgin E2 flight, which was going across from Canberra to Perth. But the XLR flight was Sydney to Melbourne.
Yeah. Okay.
XLR is going to be doing Sydney Melbourne, Sydney Brisbane, Sydney Perth, and it's going to be sort of rolling out across the domestic and short haul international network, but it's basically going to become the new workhorse for Qantas.
Nice. All right. Cool. Well, I will probably end up on one then. I do the flight from Sydney to Melbourne.
They're very nice. The overhead bins are so much bigger than on a 737.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Like you can fit all of the carry-on bags in the bins on the XLR.
I mean, I can always fit carry-on bags because I only ever travel with one bag. I am the lightest traveler I know.
I'm the worst kind of person because I need to get off the plane quick, and so it's always under the seat.
Right.
I'm not worrying about any of that. I'm just getting off. I don't like being on the plane once it's landed. I get like. Yeah.
Okay, cool. This and more personal terrors after the break, I guess.
Yeah, well, thank you, Daniel, for coming along and talking AI and several other things with us. We'll be right back on the Australian Aviation Podcast with more news from the next couple of weeks. Back in a moment. All right, welcome back to the Australian Aviation Podcast. Did I say next couple of weeks? I think I did say next couple of weeks instead of last couple of weeks. I'd love to give you the news from the next couple of weeks.
Oh, God, we just do it and go home. Just take time off.
And they'd probably pay me a lot more, too, if I could foretell
if you were capable of time travel and or predicting the future.
Yeah, no, it's someone should get on that. So before the break, we talked a bit about Qantas's push to embrace AI. We've got some details on things like on-time performance, all of those sexy topics that everyone loves.
Do they though? No, they do. I
like to hope they do because we cover it a lot. Air New Zealand did very, very well for on-time performance last year. According to Cirium, the aviation analytics firm, Air New Zealand placed second in the Asia-Pacific region for on-time performance, which is pretty good.
And it's a pretty good figure as well. 79.29% of its flights arrived on time in 2025.
Yeah, and that's behind only Philippine Airlines at 83.12%. Virgin and Qantas were still in the top 10 for the region, 8th and 9th, respectively.
Yeah, you're in the top 10. Great. At the bottom of the
Virgin
top 10.
actually just beat Qantas to the 8th place position.
Yeah.
76.54% on-time arrivals, narrowly ahead of Qantas at 76.51%. A real squeaker there. So... it's a good result for Air New Zealand, and particularly in the face of a lot of the difficulties that it's been facing.
I'm just seeing that now. Ellis Taylor, Cirium's Asia editor, was talking about the fact that all of this is despite grappling with engine issues that have at times grounded up to 6 aircraft across its A320neo family and 787 fleets. I mean,
yeah.
Holy crap, that's good performance.
That is. And Air New Zealand, a lot to be proud of.
Absolutely, yeah.
They've come out and spoken. They've put out a statement on it, which I will pull up now.
Yeah.
They put up the statement actually like a week or two after the data come out, which is ironic. Putting up the press release about the on-time performance a week late.
Look, it's that time of year. Time is meaningless.
Well, that's really more the space between Christmas and New Year, isn't it?
Look, every year it extends a little bit further out into the year.
Yeah.
Or at least that's the excuse I say for the fact that I have forgotten how to write.
So we have Air New Zealand. The General Manager Airports, Kate Boyer, said that the result is encouraging, reflects a large program of work across the business to consistently improve on-time performance. Further improvements are planned, she said. Quote, getting customers to where they need to be on time and safely is the fundamental proposition of any airline to its customers. Air New Zealand has a target for our on-time performance to be in the top 5 globally. We have more work to do to get to this level, but this result shows that we are moving in the right direction. She said, this is a business-wide effort. On-time performance is not something we look at once a year. It is a daily focus. While it is great to have our progress reinforced in this annual report, what matters most to us is delivering for our customers every day. So hats off to New Zealand.
The proof appears to be in the pudding.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say that as a platitude, but to actually deliver is something else. So bravo, yeah.
Yeah, hats off to Air New Zealand. Now, we did not cover the BITRA data from November because that came out after we broke up for the year. But Qantas Network, again, beat Virgin in domestic on-time performance. 70.1% on-time arrivals, 72.9% on-time departures. That is compared to 67.2% and 70.5% for Virgin. But Virgin still completed more flights as per usual, 98.5% to 96.3%. Virgin said that it was pleased to have achieved the lowest cancellation rate of the major Australian domestic airlines from January through to November 2025. That is based on the BITRA data. I'm just pulling up the BITRA data now. Because we saw as well that Jetstar was the worst performer for the month. But in Jetstar's defense, the end of November was a real kick in the teeth because that is when the A320 thing happened. And so it would have, so 64.8% on-time arrivals, 64% on-time departures, 4.7% cancellations. Again, probably a fair bit of that is not Jetstar's fault. They had to ground their A320 fleet because of the Airbus solar radiation thing. So it's hard to fault Jetstar too much for that. In terms of the Huey Award, which you can see sitting on the shelf behind me, I'm not pulling it down off the shelf because I am comfortable, at least for the month of November, leaving it in the hands of Hinterland Aviation, which did not cancel a single flight for the month. Zero cancellations for Hinterland. Hinterland also, again, star performer for on-time performance. 91.8% on-time arrivals, 95.1% on-time departures. At
some point in the future, I'd really like to fly Hinterland. We've been talking about them so much over the last few months and last year.
They fly sort of really, really small.
I know it's very specific.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
they fly small aircraft, but they fly them on time. And they flew 1,581 sectors in November 2025, which, is not nearly as much as your Qantas or your Virgins. But they have kept their flights consistently on time. So I'm not sure if there's something that the majors could look at and learn for Hinterland, or if it's how much of it is a factor of them being a smaller airline, but
very specific, very specific routes, very specific aircraft, doing very specific things for a very specific clientele.
But Hinterland continue to do good work, so I'm happy.
Bravo, Hinterland!
I'm
Bravo.
happy to leave that sticker taped to the Huey Award.
Yes,
for last month. We also had, talking of global aviation data, now this is something we didn't cover ourselves over the break, but from it was coming out from OAG, another analyst. Melbourne to Sydney remained one of the top 10 busiest routes. Sixth place. Close to 9 million scheduled seats in 2025. I think they have the exact table here. Yeah. Melbourne to Sydney, 8,951,497 seats in 2025. That, I think, slipped from 5th position. It was overtaken by Jeddah to Riyadh in 5th position. The top route was Jeju International to Seoul Gimpo in South Korea. That was followed by Sapporo, New Chitose to Tokyo Haneda, Fukuoka to Tokyo Haneda. That makes a lot of sense, yeah. Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City, Jeddah to Riyadh. Then we had Melbourne to Sydney. Then
Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City. Oh, that's
Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh, yeah. Then we had Jeddah to Riyadh, Melbourne to Sydney, Tokyo Haneda to Okinawa Naha, Mumbai to Delhi, Beijing to Shanghai Hongqiao, and Shanghai Hongqiao to Shenzhen.
You know, I would have assumed there'd be at least one US domestic route in there.
You'd think so. I mean, I suppose that sort of US domestic routes are often pretty sort of spread out. Like they have a lot of airports in the US.
A lot of airports and a lot of small airlines as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point.
And, you know, if you'd assume, like, for example, New York to LA
I
might
was
be
going
popular.
to say, yeah.
But you have to remember that New York has...
How many airports?
Yeah, 3 or 4 airports.
Yeah.
You got JFK,
LaGuardia,
Newark Liberty.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're flying to the West Coast as well, you know, even if you're flying to San Francisco, you're flying to San Francisco, you're flying to Oakland, you're flying to, you know, any of the other...
Seattle,
if you're flying east to west. Like, you know, Sydney to Melbourne, biggest city in Australia to second biggest city in Australia.
When you put it that way, it does suddenly make a lot of sense.
Sydney and Melbourne have one airport. Okay, so Avalon. But Sydney and Melbourne have one airport.
No offense to the people who work at Avalon, but we know it's not a real airport.
They're working on it. And I mean, WSI doesn't open up until the end of the year. So, you know, we might see some bleed if more people start flying WSI to Melbourne as opposed to Sydney.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
But, yeah, in terms of, this is like just airport pairs, I think, this list.
Yeah.
It is also still a relatively expensive route, and it's a very, very lucrative route. I mean, the SMH...
It's not cheap. You're not wrong. Yeah. It's easy to forget, I'm just flying down to Melbourne. It'll be not cheap. Yeah.
I mean, in the first half of 2023, Sydney to Melbourne was the most lucrative route in the world. Total ticket revenue of around $1.8 billion.
Oh my God.
And that was in 2023. I'm not sure where it is at right now.
Wow.
It's a big money, and you know why all these airlines, you know why all these startups try to break in on this Melbourne to Sydney route is because there's a lot of cash to be had. But the trouble is, Qantas and Virgin and Jetstar, between them, have that route pretty much sewn up, as, you know, airlines like Rex found out to their detriment.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a trap. It's sort of a trap. The Sydney and Melbourne route in terms of a lot of startup airlines. It will be interesting to see, you know, if and when Koala Airlines starts flying later this year as they plan to.
Our good old friends at Koala.
Our good old friends at Koala Airlines.
Actually an airline.
Yes, they have confirmed that they do have planes on the way. And they do have an air operator certificate.
Exactly. Yep.
I think that now that air operator certificate does need to be revised to allow the high capacity jet operations, but they do have one.
They've got it. Yeah.
So if it'll be interesting to see what Koala Airlines does there. I mean, Bill Astling, who we spoke to, and you can read the Q&A in the last issue of the Australian Aviation Magazine. Bill Astling said that they're not going to be trying to compete with Qantas and Virgin by, you know, slashing fares to rock bottom, because Qantas and Virgin have deeper pockets and they can cut fares more than you can. But it's tough. It's tough for anyone to break in on the Melbourne-Sydney route. You know, on the one hand, that's where the money is.
It's competitive, it's lucrative, but everybody wants to make that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, there's a reason they call it the Golden Triangle.
There's a sweet spot in there somewhere for another airline to come in and take a slice of that pie.
One would hope.
Yeah.
And we go back to Bonza sometimes. Bonza never tried Melbourne to Sydney. That wasn't the Bonza focus. The Bonza focus was flying between these smaller holiday destinations and, by all accounts, until they got their planes taken off them, as we've said quite a few times on the podcast, it seemed to be working for them. But unfortunately, their financiers appear to have been Shonky Brothers Incorporated. So that's why Bonza came to a sad end. Moving on from that global aviation data, let's talk about global aviation data.
Yep.
There was a research co-led by the University of Oxford, and that was published in Nature Communications, Earth and Environment, has said that airlines could cut their carbon footprints by 50 to 75%.
Not insignificant.
Not insignificant at all. And this is not with increased use of sustainable aviation fuel. It's not with hydrogen or electric planes. It's just more efficiently using the planes that they already have. So there are already more fuel efficient planes on the market, like the 787 Dreamliner, the A350, A330 Neo, the A220, the A320 Neo family, the 737 MAX family, the Embraer E2 family. All of these are more fuel efficient than their predecessors. And so basically what the study said is there are 3 steps that airlines can take to cut their carbon emissions by this much.
Yeah.
But there's can and there's will.
Yeah, and so it's using more fuel efficient planes.
Yes.
Increasing load factors.
Yes.
And all economy layouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I think, going to be...
Kicker,
that's,
isn't it?
Yeah. So load factors at the moment globally, I think, are around an average of 79%. That's sort of from the research that they did.
I do need you to do a little bit of treat me like I'm dumb. Load factor. What is a load
percentage of seats on plane that are full.
Oh, okay, cool. Yep. That makes sense. Yep.
So the more full your plane is, the higher the load factor.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong on that, I'm sure I'll hear about it.
You will.
But increasing seats full from 79% on average to 95%. So packing more people into the planes, filling more seats. The all economy layouts are really going to be that, because that is where the airlines make a lot of their money. But it is also 5 times business and first class seats up to 5 times more carbon intensive than economy seats. So if you tore out the business seats, tore out the first class seats, replace them with economy, that could slash emissions by about 22%. You could cut emissions by another 16% by increasing those load factors. It would, if you put in all 3 of these recommendations, more fuel efficient planes, all economy, higher load factors, 50 to 75% is roughly the range in which they thought that the emissions could be cut. But they don't need necessarily to be taking all of these steps to cut emissions. If they just use the more efficient existing aircraft that they have on current routes, if they do that more efficiently and strategically, that could shave around 11% off emissions right away.
Yeah. And then replacing all aircraft with the most efficient models, 787-9 for long hauls, the Neo for short and medium haul. That's 25 to 28% savings there. Yeah. But it all requires initial outlay, right?
Yes. Yeah, because new planes are expensive.
Yeah.
And older planes, airlines continue using their older planes because it's hard to get new ones. It's it's cheaper up front to stick with the planes you already have.
You've got maintenance staff who know how they work. You've got parts, you know how they work. You've got all of that, you know how it works. Yeah. It really is a case of better the devil you know, except the possible gains here are really quite remarkable.
Yeah. It's just a question of how far are the airlines willing to go to cut their carbon emissions, especially when it involves getting rid of really lucrative sources of revenue up in the business, up in the pointy end of the plane.
Yeah, and it's weird. So I've flown premium economy a couple of times in in my lifetime. Only a couple. I've only flown business domestically once. That's because I had the points. And that seemed like such an extravagant waste to fly business Melbourne to Sydney.
Yeah.
Comfortable as hell. Oh,
Sydney to
so
Perth,
nice.
maybe.
Then suddenly it becomes, year before last, when I traveled to Europe, I did premium economy on the Sydney to somewhere in the Middle East route, and then economy from there to
Who'd you fly with?
I flew Qatar.
So it would have been Doha.
Yeah, there you go, Doha. Yeah, and as a traveler, so worth it. Knowing in the back of my mind that I'm a more challenging traveler for the environment, that's such a thing to consider, isn't it?
Well, I think that there are airlines that do have like all economy layouts. I mean, budget carriers.
You think that is a budget thing, right?
Yeah, you look at your Ryanairs, you look at your Cebu Pacifics. I think Cebu Pacific has like A330 Neos that are just packed nose to tail with economy class seats.
Wow.
So there are airlines
all the way.
Yeah, there are airlines that are doing it.
Yeah.
But for the big boys, your Emirates, your Qantas, your Qatars, and all of those.
Most of their marketing campaigns are built around here's what you get in first and business.
Yeah,
they don't show you what you get in economy because no one cares.
Qatar, the Q suites that on the 777s that Virgin is also using. This is the most luxurious business class suite in the sky. They want
flat bedding and that kind of stuff.
And for the passenger, it's. Can you imagine a CEO of a Fortune 500 company flying in economy class? They might just switch to their private jets if they haven't already.
You sit down and there's Elon Musk next to you in an economy seat, and you're like, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is the eject button on this seat? Chat, where is the eject button on this seat? Great question. The eject button on a 737-800 seat.
Let me know, please. But there's some fascinating figures in that. Really quite interesting figures.
Yeah, so it's definitely something worth watching. It'll be worth watching as well to see how airlines are cutting emissions using the tools that they already have. I mean, you can buy sort of when you're booking your tickets, you can buy like carbon offsets and things like that,
which I always do. And you always wonder, like, does that do anything?
Yeah, I think the efficacy of things like carbon offsets has been debated,
questioned. Yeah.
We're going to take one more quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking more about the news from not the next couple of weeks. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. You're listening to the Australian Aviation Podcast. Couple more stories to get through. Again, something we didn't cover on the Australian Aviation website, but they are once again searching for MH370.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I really get it. Everybody involved wants closure on this.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how much it costs to keep mounting these search efforts.
Well, it's for the government, this Ocean Infinity, this marine robotics company, Ocean Infinity, has basically said, if we don't find it, you don't pay us. So
it's right. They got a contract with the Malaysian government, which agreed to pay $100 million, but only if the wreckage is discovered. Yeah.
So they're and they started again over the break, which is why we didn't cover it. They started the new search. 55 days using technology that did not exist during earlier attempts. So new, more efficient ships, improved sonar and analysis technology. So they'll be looking for big pieces of debris, engines, other sort of big heavy pieces of the aircraft. This is per the ABC. You see, I knocked this Qantas A380 a little bit, and it doesn't fall over. You can't be
allowed in the aircraft. You just
but this Qantas A380 doesn't fall over. So the A330 Neo might need to learn something from that. But yeah, it's basically nothing has come out of the previous searches, but they reckon that now with this more advanced technology, they've got as good a shot of finding something as they ever have.
Yeah.
I think the real question is, if they do find it, will they still be able to figure out what happened? Because the black boxes have got to be ruined by now. It's been in the water for, 12 years?
Yeah, at least, yeah. Look, I don't think it's about... Look, ideally, would everybody like to know what's happened? Of course.
Yeah.
But I think the best case scenario here is just knowing where it is.
Yeah.
I think that provides so much closure to all of the families and friends of the people who went down with that aircraft. I think that would be, you find that, you almost go, look, that's it, we're done. It's there.
Yeah.
It's going to be in a deep part of the ocean. Even finding it is going to be challenging. Getting an underwater vehicle down there to recover stuff.
Yeah.
And you've got to consider that, it's effectively a mass grave right now. So how do you then go about recovering stuff from what is that? How do you treat that with the proper reverence?
Yeah.
So I think the goal should be just finding it, just getting that level of closure, and that's enough. Sometimes aircraft crash.
Yeah. I mean, I hope at the very least, if they do find this plane, it might maybe put paid to some of the conspiracy theories that have been going around.
I've not heard any of these conspiracy theories. So just give me a quick 1 minute, the two of the craziest.
Yeah, I mean, so according to the ABC, and so this is the ABC, and quoting from the ABC and Reuters, so the ABC in Australia, taking this story from the ABC in the US. It's
I see.
Yeah, mechanical error, remote controlled crashes, alien abductions,
organ harvesting
rings, Russian, schemes and plots. There have been, as the ABC this story notes, some aviation experts say the most likely explanation that the plane was deliberately taken off course
even
by an
that
experienced
seems
pilot.
extreme.
Yeah, because and investigators have said, as this story notes, there was nothing suspicious in the background, financial affairs, training, or mental health of the captain or the co-pilot, and neither had any apparent motive for intentionally taking the plane off course. Boeing.
The Boeing remote control thing.
The Boeing remote control thing, and Boeing said it had never installed any sort of remote control system on any aircraft. It's just all of this lurid theorizing and speculation, and did the pilot do it? Did this and that do it? Did aliens do it? Did alien organ harvesters do it? Have been taken to Atlantis or whatever? It's constant.
Oh wow.
Hopefully, here is hoping that they find the plane, at the very least, to put to rest any conspiracy theories that aliens took it
or it landed somewhere else. No, just find the wreckage, know it's there. And maybe I'm incorrect, but I think for a lot of the people who lost people on that flight, knowing where it is would go a long way to delivering some kind of closure.
Yeah, exactly. We've had a couple of drone stories over the past couple of weeks. So this one came out of the town of Moree in New South Wales. Moree is participating in what it is calling an Australian first police drone trial. So,
there's three words I love. It's police surveillance drones.
Yeah. So it's Polair, the New South Wales Police Aviation Command. They've put these two drones in Moree. I believe they're DJIs, based on sort of pictures I've seen of like a PowerPoint presentation. For a 6-month trial, they're looking to assist first response police officers. Moree has a break and enter rate apparently 9 times the state average. And the mayor of Moree Plains Shire Council, Susanna Pearce, said, quote, "While there may be some concerns about this increased surveillance, we need to balance this with the very real impact violent crime has on its victims. If this trial stops even one violent break and enter or makes offenders think twice, then that's a win." New South Wales Police Aviation Command Superintendent Chris Nicholson said that the number one priority would be aviation, not policing. They will follow the rules very, very strictly. He said, quote, "We are not in the business of spying in people's backyards or looking at people over their fences. The drones will do exactly what we already do in our fixed-wing aircraft when providing aerial surveillance over Moree." He said, "By having these drones in Moree and working from Bankstown, we estimate we can be here for 300 to 500 hours of aerial coverage over the town without even trying." From what I understand, the Australian first part of this trial, because I think towns like Alice Springs are using drones, but these are fully remotely operated. There is no one in Moree that is standing there with a remote control flying these drones.
Being operated
They're being controlled from Bankstown.
So we're talking this whole kind of like drone strike. We fly it
Yeah.
from America. We kill terrorists somewhere in
Yeah, exactly.
Moree.
So they're being remotely operated
We're
from,
not saying
from
there are
Bankstown
any drone
Airport.
strikes in Moree. We're not saying that at all. It's just a
Yeah, no,
really-
please do not drone strike Moree.
Unless,
It's apparently if the trial is successful, it will be extended to other locations in New South Wales. On the one hand, saves on helicopter trips. Might reduce break and enters and violent crimes and stuff. On the other hand, it does feel a little bit dystopian, doesn't it?
it does a little.
Just a little bit.
So, like, I'm kind of both sidesing it in my brain at the moment.
Yeah,
And
it's
on
sort
the
of
one hand,
bit cyberpunk.
it is a bit cyberpunk. On the one hand, when you see a police helicopter circling the area, you know a crime has been committed. You know there's probably an active search going on.
Yeah.
And I don't think seeing that chopper up there occasionally stabbing down a searchlight, like, oh, but my civil liberties. No, I'm just aware that a crime's happened and they're doing
Yeah.
their best to apprehend the criminal.
Well, this is a proactive thing.
Whereas here, this is going to be hovering around, waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Imagine if there were just police helicopters hovering in the sky, just waiting. And I just don't know. Yeah.
It's
part of me is like ACAB.
it's
Part of me is like, but what if it works?
yeah, it's like it would be a hell of a lot easier than having. It's probably the reason that you haven't had police helicopters hovering in the sky monitoring everything is because that's really expensive. But
Avgas
drones can
ain't
do that
cheap.
really cheaply.
Yeah.
It's an odd. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this works.
But also, I'm trying to work out. What did I see? Reduces risk to police. These drones can check out stuff that the police don't need to yet.
Yeah.
And they might be able to find out more information and realize, oh, there's nothing to worry about here.
Yeah.
Or find exactly where police need to go and make sure they get there right on time, first
Yeah.
time. So I can see both sides of it. But at the same time, I'm kind of with you. It does feel a bit dystopian.
It
very
does a
cyberpunk.
little bit.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. Get in the comments.
We would love to hear that.
We would
yeah.
love to hear what you
Are
think.
you for it? Are you against it? What are your concerns?
Are you for it? But is a police drone looking over your shoulder as you type that you are for it? And is there a laser on your forehead?
Years ago, I was doing a coastal walk in Cornwall, of all places, and I'm laboring up this really steep set of steps to check out an old World War II pillbox, and I just hear this completely unnatural whine and rises up the cliff, this drone out of nowhere, and it looked at me and then went away, and I was like in my chill, walking, exploring, travel place, and suddenly I felt really oddly violated by
Yeah.
it. It didn't mean anything. It was just some drone flyer who just saw me and wanted to have a look at me. But I'm now imagining what it'd be like to be in the backyard. A drone pops up over your fence. Citizen. Yeah.
You were hiking in Cornwall and you heard this really loud, unnatural whine, but it turns out it was just the tourists from London behind you.
Just some Tories. Yeah.
Yeah. Another drone story we have. This is a happy one. Dolphins.
I do love this headline.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to read out the headline, and I'm sorry if it spoils the entire story. Dolphin doctors could diagnose with drones.
Yeah. So the Flinders University researchers did a study to use thermal drones to monitor the health of dolphins. This is basically, it is, stressful for the dolphin to be handled and
Look, it's stressful for most things to be handled and probed and poked and prodded.
Invasive, as the study's authors say, invasive, expensive, logistically complex. It can alter the animal's behavior and physiology. It can stress them out, making the results harder to interpret. So they've been trialing it at SeaWorld in the Gold Coast. They've been doing this study to use drones with thermal cameras to measure dolphins' body heat, skin temperature, breathing patterns, and this is all without having to get close to them or touch them. So they tested these drones with 4 bottlenose dolphins under human care at SeaWorld. And according to the authors, Charlie White and Guido Parra, it's a practical advance in how dolphin vital signs can be monitored in the wild. They said, this approach has the potential to improve our ability to detect physiological changes and examine how dolphin health may vary over time in the wild. Combined with behavioral observations, drone-based thermal imaging could help explore links between surface temperatures, breathing patterns, and environmental conditions. As coastal ecosystems face growing pressure, tools such as thermal drones that allow researchers to monitor wildlife efficiently, repeatedly, and non-invasively will become increasingly important. They provide a practical addition to the conservation toolbox, helping us better understand and ultimately protect dolphins and other animals in a changing ocean.
I mean, wonderfully altruistic use of drones right there. But now I'm going back to the previous article and imagining like a remote medical drone hovering above me, shouting, "Citizen, you are ill."
Yeah. Or just, a police drone hovering over a dolphin and trying to arrest it.
Stop poking that jellyfish.
Yeah. It's trying to bust dolphins for illegal drug uses when they, bonk their noses into pufferfish or whatever.
Look, it's a remarkable thing about humanity actually going like, we worry about this species over here. It's not us, but we want to make it feel better. That's a good story.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
happy
a good
about
story.
that.
There's also...
Meanwhile, dolphin, like a few feet below the surface. What is that annoying noise? I can't hear anything.
Yeah. There's also... and there was also expanded use of drones for shark monitoring up in Queensland.
Yes, I'm looking at that one now. I've got no complaints over.
Yes, especially if it helps non-invasively and, non-lethal.
Non-shark netty, because shark nets are not an ideal solution. They are a solution, but they're not ideal.
Yeah.
Because they catch a whole lot of other stuff aside from sharks.
Exactly. It's a good use of drones to keep people safe. And I think surf life-saving organizations around the country, I know in New South Wales that they're looking at more use of drones. It's a good, and doesn't need to rely on expensive, again, helicopter flights.
Yeah.
So good news there. Got time for one more story. We probably don't have time for any more stories, but I do want to talk about this because this is amazing.
Yep.
This story about a dramatic crash at Parafield
This
Airport.
one's fascinating. I was reading this earlier, and I really like some of the conclusions. But yeah, the story.
Yeah. So Parafield Airport in Adelaide. There was a student pilot in a Cessna Skyhawk. It was a touch and go maneuver that went wrong. He was trying to sort of touch down and take off again, but insufficient airspeed. The left wing stalled, came down, hit the runway. The pilot got out about 30 seconds after the collision, and then the aircraft burst into flames, completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And the pilot, student pilot, 21-year-old pilot, completely unscathed.
Yeah. And also, I love his attitude.
Yeah.
I just want to move on. I just want to learn more. I just realized they need to know about the plane stalling or landing. I just want to train more, and I'll be better next time.
Yeah.
It occurs to me that, you learn to drive. You drive in a car park somewhere. You get to do all this safe stuff. You're probably going to bump into a few things. So you do it at low speed.
Yeah.
You can't do low speed aircraft flying. There's something inherently dangerous about that first solo flight that you just can't get away from.
There's Angus Mitchell, the chief commissioner of the ATSB. This is from an interview that he gave to Sunrise. He said student pilots and solo flights do present a certain risk. There's about 20 accidents and incidents every year with student pilots doing solo flights.
Yeah.
I'm imagining with the comparisons to car, like a big L plate on the side of a Cessna.
Gravity doesn't care about your L plate.
Yeah.
It's not really other aircraft you've got to worry about, mostly, because we both know that in air and on ground collisions do happen. But touch and goes.
It's an apt name.
Yeah, touch and not go in this case. Yeah. Touch and stay down, very much down. You'll not fly again today.
Now I'm imagining like a P-plater pilot. What were they? Oi, Dad, can I borrow the keys to the Cessna?
No. As Mitchell said, we're still gathering information to determine exactly the nature and extent of the investigation. But we do know that student pilots, we need to understand exactly what occurred here. We've got a good idea of the circumstances around it, but there's a couple of things we need to look into before we can determine the extent of investigation. And I imagine they're going to look at it and go, it was a student pilot. They've learnt something. Yeah. This is how you learn.
Expensive lesson. But look,
a very expensive lesson.
Any landing you can walk away from a good one.
Good one, yeah. I think this is also just the nature of learning to fly. It is not like driving a car. It is certainly not like riding a bike.
A good landing is one you can walk away from. A great one is one where they can reuse the plane.
I like it.
And on that note, that is about time for the Australian Aviation Podcast for today. We will be back next week. Same aviation time, same aviation channel. Until then, check out the Australian Aviation website.
And fly safe.
And fly safe. And make sure you put your L's on if you're in your Cessna. I'm Jake Nelson.
I'm David Hollingworth.
I was gonna say this is David Hollingworth,
I wanted to get that one in.
Yeah. I'm Jake Nelson. This is David Hollingworth. We'll see you next time.